Hello, welcome back. Let's be honest before we kick off with this today. You're going to be watching this in the future, and my promise to you is that I will have done the thing. But tomorrow is day 21 of completing a daily habit. Tomorrow is Saturday, so I'm not going to be filming videos. I'm going to be with my family. And so I wanted to get this in today so you have it, so you can really think about where you're going next. What are the habits that you want to put in place? Side note, you might watch this video or even see the title and be like, yeah, habits are not for me. That feels a bit, it feels like somebody else, somebody who writes books about habits. I don't know if I want to be that regimented in my daily life. I felt the same. And yet here I was as a coach. Here I was somebody with a growth mindset. Here I was with somebody who was ambitious. And what I noticed was some of the things that I wanted to be, do, have, and feel were not happening because I was not being strategic or disciplined or thoughtful or purposeful. I wasn't doing those things, and yet I was getting very frustrated that these things weren't just happening automatically. And for me, it has been about really thinking about the person that I am becoming. And spoiler alert, that person is you, of course. But I am 42 now, and I'm not messing about with my life. I've really realized that this year, that there are so many people who spend a lot of time in sludge, essentially. And yes, that is sometimes for many different reasons, and lots of people have lots of things going on. But I'm talking not necessarily about that sort of tricky, challenging stuff. I'm talking about that lukewarm feel. You know, I'm a bit tired today. Oh, it looks like it might rain. All of that stuff. And this year I've really been cleaning up that language for myself, because I don't know why I do it. And I think it's a learned behavior, because that's what lots of other people do. They talk about the weather or low level things. And I've come to the conclusion those things don't make me happy. So I am actively looking at things in my life. And I think that I've really done that this year, is I've pulled things apart, and now I've pieced some of the things back together. And of course, there are still things that are a work in progress, but I've really done a reset on my life, and that has been interesting. Let's just leave it with that lovely adjective at this time. Anyway, you're here for habits, and I want to share a story. I want to share 21 things that have happened in 21 days. And there's 3 parts to this, and this is part 1. So I wanted to get back into running. I have a previous long-term but sometimes fractious relationship with running. I think I have been running for at least 15 years, but that has been very kind of up and down. Sometimes I've got really into it. In lockdown, I did a half marathon. Then, of course, I've had babies and morning sickness and sleepless nights and all of that. And there have been times when it's kind of just fallen out of a habit. However, I know that when I do it, it has a profound effect on every area of my life. I'm not saying that you need to run and that it's going to change your life. I'm just talking about what happens for me when I do this. And so my question to myself is, if I know that it is going to increase every part of my life, why am I not doing it? Why am I not making it an absolute non-negotiable part of my life? So the first thing that I needed to do and think about was, am I in or am I out? So especially at this time of year, everybody's talking about 2024 and the new year, new me, where am I going next, all of that stuff. However, unless we consciously plan and define what that is and take the action that is in alignment with that, it's just going to be the same year. And I know that sounds obvious, but I think it doesn't necessarily dawn on lots of people because we buy the notebook, we say, okay, we're going to do this, and we might do a few little moves. But for you to become that person that you really want to be, it's going to require a different level of you. Whether or not you want to do that is entirely up to you. But I invite you to go through these exercises and keep asking yourself, so therefore, what does this mean for me? The first thing I had to come up with is, was I in or was I out? And I like that clear boundary for myself. I've had it in, is that a personal story? Yes, it's quite a personal story. But I certainly had this, I'm gonna, okay, I'll tell you quickly. But I basically had this with my partner of 17 years. There was a family occasion that he was invited to. We were very early in our relationship. I had been burnt quite a lot by, lovely and attractive, but terrible men. And so as he was invited to this family occasion, I said to him, like, you're welcome to come. I'd love you to come. But if you're not into this relationship on a long-term basis, please don't come. And to be fair to him, he was like, I'd really like to come. And he made the right decision. Maybe he did. But 17 years later, that was a real line in the sand, because I didn't want him to come to this thing and then be 2 weeks later like, yeah, I'm not really looking for a relationship. I was just very clear. Likewise, when I became a mum, I was all in. I knew that this relationship, this mother-son, this mother-daughter relationship was for life. It wasn't something that I was dabbling in and out of, essentially. And I feel like that about my health. Who knows what is around the corner? None of us know. We don't. However, I am really taking seriously what I can do in order to do what I can to be in that position. So that was my first question, and your question in terms of habits. Are you in or are you out? Be clear with yourself. If you're in, great, let's go. If you're out, why? Why? What is underneath that? Why is it vague for you? What do you need to know? Is it the right goal? Maybe it's not the right goal. Maybe there's some investigation to be doing here. But asking that question from the beginning is a really strong position, because you know where you are. You know where you are with yourself. You're not lying to yourself. You know what the thing is. And ultimately, as I've gone through this journey of these last 21 days, there have been times where I'm like, I don't know if I can do it today. But if I go back to point number one of, am I in or am I out? I'm in. So get your trainers on, Raby. Number two, when you do something new or something old that you're resurrecting, it's going to be noisy, really noisy. Feelings, voices, thoughts, all of it. It's going to be so loud in your head, in your body, and you're going to feel it all. However, be mindful about what those feelings are actually, what's going on, and make sure that you're working with them. And so day one, I went out for my run. Day two, I was like, feel a bit stiff today. And I decided to put a full stop at the end of that. I feel a bit stiff today. Anyway, day two, let's go. if I'd allowed myself to get into that conversation of like, why do I feel stiff? Maybe I've hurt myself. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Had to go back to point number 1. Am I in or am I out? I'm in. Number 3. What is the goal? What is the goal? And what is required of you to tick off the habit? So my goal is to run every day. However, I have to make this clear, and we'll go into this in point number 4, but really doable. So I came up, even though, again, my head was like, you could do 30 minutes every day. I was like, what's the goal? The goal is to do it every day. 30 minutes sometimes might be stretchy. 15 minutes minimum. And even if I go up to 30 minutes, which is sometimes what I do, 15 minutes, absolutely fine. A no-brainer. I can easily do 15 minutes. Okay, so the goal is 15 minutes of running each and every day. Done. If I can do more, great. If I can't, 15 minutes is what it is. Number 4, make it doable and lower your expectations. For me, this is about making it doable, so I do it, rather than impressive. I've seen people over the years do these huge goals and then they fall off. And what I'm looking for, based on am I in or am I out, I'm looking for that consistency. I'm looking for that regularity in my life. Not like, oh my goodness, I'm doing this for 6 months, beach body ready. I don't subscribe to that, clearly. But, I know people live like that. For me, it's about doable consistency daily. Number 5, who needs to know? Instagram didn't need to know in the first instance, by the way, but my children and my partner needed to know. I talked to them about it. I said what I wanted to do. I said what they would need to do in order to support me. I spoke about it. I was very honest. And you might be like, are your kids quite young? Yes, my youngest is 4, but she gets it. And I've brought them into my conversation. And I think this is really important, whether it's your family, whether it's a friend, whether it's your partner in business, whatever it might be. If you can bring people in, and so people understand what you're trying to do, even if that's a coach, if that's somebody separate, somebody neutral, absolutely do it. It's a really great thing. Number 6, why are you doing this in the short term and in the long term? In the short term, I know if I get that tick on my list every single day, like I am the person who is doing this thing, I'm the person that's in, this is happening, it really puts a pep in my step for the day. And not just in terms of, I guess, confidence and motivation of like, yeah, well done, you did that. But it affects everything. How I eat, how I sleep, how I feel about myself, my energy levels, the kind of business owner I am, parent, I was going to say wife, I'm not even a wife, partner, daughter, sister, auntie, godmother, like all of the things. And I also have been very clear about the long-term benefits as well. And I heard somebody say what you do between 40 and 50 is really, really key in terms of how the rest of your life will go. I don't have science information there, but it really stuck with me. And actually, I'm going to borrow that because I'm not going to just wait till 50 or 60. Why am I going to start running then if I'm not doing it now? So that was an interesting one. And number 7, I made a decision to live in the possibility of it. And I think when we do something new, we build a new habit, again, we feel all of the things. And as I'm going around, I could be like, oh, this hurts. Oh, I'm a bit hot. Oh gosh, I'm out of breath. And instead of getting consumed by the pain, I mean, obviously if I hurt myself, I'm going to stop. I get into the possibility like, oh, you're moving, you're doing it. You did it faster than yesterday. Round the corner, here we go. The sun's rising, all of that. And it makes me feel great. Come back for part 2 where we will be chatting more. Let me know your habits too that you're working on. Lots of love. Bye.